Hi and welcome everyone, I'm LimeadeJay, and today we will be taking a look on how to set up a camera for a 2D game in Unity using Cinemachine. As a quick disclaimer, this video will not show you how to make a 2D character, movement, script, or a level, but it will be featured within the video to better demonstrate the camera's capabilities. Another thing I want to touch on is some of you may ask why use Cinemachine over Unity's built-in camera system. Well, there are a number of good reasons. The first of which is that using Cinemachine allows us to use things that are called virtual cameras. These are pretty cool because these are cameras that we can position in the scene or move around in ways that the main camera really can't do. You can also do a lot of extra cool things. You can make it so that the camera has a screen shake, or it tracks a certain thing, or it includes dead zones. You can do all that with Cinemachine, but you can't really do that with the main camera. That's just a few reasons, but honestly, I really encourage all of you to just go and research, look up some reasons why it may be better to use the built-in version or Cinemachine. But without further ado, we'll get into the main tutorial. So the first thing we want to do is be in the project that we want to set up a camera in the first place. Once you do that, we're going to actually have to install Cinemachine into your Unity project. If you already have it installed, good, you can go ahead and skip to a further part of the video where we actually get into the tutorial. If not, stay here and I'll show you how to do it. What you want to do is go up to Window, Package Manager, and in this drop-down menu right here, go to Unity Registry. There'll be a bunch of stuff that's already part of Unity by default. Scroll down for a little bit until you find Cinemachine. Click on it, and then you want to go ahead and press Install. And we're just going to wait for that to install. Be back in a second. Perfect. Now we have Cinemachine installed, we can get into the main part of the tutorial. Adding a camera via Cinemachine is actually super simple. What you want to do is go up to the top corner, go on Game Object, scroll down to Cinemachine, and click on Virtual Camera. This will add a camera to your hierarchy, and I'm just going to leave it as the name is right now. The main things I want to do is you want to look over to the Follow and Look At. You want to grab whatever you're trying to have the camera focus on and drag them into those transform segments. Another thing I'll point out is the lens ortho size. This basically just means where or how wide the camera will be framed on your scene. So at 5 right now, I'll show you an example. If you set it to 10, it zooms out super far. And you can see that being displayed in the scene as well. But I'm going to just put that back at 5 because that's a very comfortable number. Now this is basically all you really need to do to set up a camera via Cinemachine, but I'll play things and show you how it looks. It's a bit stiff. It's the bare minimum what you can do, but there are some things you can adjust to make it feel more natural. If you go back into the inspector and do the drop-down menu for the body and the aim, there are a lot more settings you can play with that will allow you to make the camera look a bit nicer. The first one I want to touch on are the X, Y, and Z dampening in the body section. This is essentially the smoothing of the movement of the camera. Let's go ahead and set these to a higher number and see how, not 20, oof. I don't know if 20 is that good of a number. I'll set these to 3, and you can see that it will look a little bit smoother while the camera's panning down. See that? Yeah, that looks a little nicer. The next thing I want to talk about is the screen X and screen Y. This allows you to change position of the center of the camera when focusing on the object. If you want the object to be a little bit more towards the right side of the screen, you can change that. If you want it to be towards the left, you can do that. Or you can also change how far or low it is from the center. I do caution, sometimes it does not work as well as you'd like, so I'm just going to leave it as it is right there. The next thing I want to touch on are the dead zones. I'm going to go ahead and show you what this looks like, but you can't really see it with the camera as it is. Let's turn off the background. Now, if I show you again, you'll see that there is a segment growing, and this is basically the area that the character can move in before the camera starts panning after them. So let's show you an example. See how there's a bit of a pause before the camera started moving? That's because there's the dead zone that allowed the player to move around in. And the last thing I want to touch upon is the look ahead time and look ahead smoothing. The look ahead makes it so that the camera will go ahead of the player that's following in order to give you a better example of what's ahead of you. Look ahead. This is really great if you have a platforming segment and you want to be able to see what you're actually doing before you just jump into the void. I'm going to give that look ahead time, let's say a 0.3. And look ahead smoothing is the same thing as the dampening, it's just making it smoother. I'm just going to set that at 5. And let's see what that looks like. It scrolled way further down to look ahead where the player was going instead of just panning straight after it. Those aren't the only things that you can change about the camera, but those are the most powerful ones, in my opinion, that you can change. So that was a really simple look at making a 2D camera in Unity using Cinemachine. There's a lot of potential for what you can do with this system, so I really encourage all of you to play around and try different things, but that will be all from me from now. Hopefully this helps you out, and I will see you all around. Bye!